You gotta get in everything, don't you? Hey, hi everybody, it's Robert Earl out here at the Eco Ranch Sustainable Living Education Center with Cascade the Wonder Dog, and he's wondering, what are we gonna eat? I'm also your Desert Chef. I'm posting this to both channels, the Desert Chef, and well, all three really. The Desert Chef, Eco Ranch Sustainable Living Education Center. So it's getting to all three of them. Now, what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to do a little bit of wok cooking today. Now, I haven't done anything with the wok for quite some time, and I'm going to explain to you why I haven't. I'm going to get going here in a minute. I'm struggling a little bit with what I want to say. However, years ago, I built this beautiful wok stove. By the way, we're out here in the chaos kitchen, and if you look around, you can definitely see the chaos. Ignore the chaos. Pay attention to me. Look at me. Look at me. Oh, wait a minute. That's that guy 2.5 miles to my southeast. Never mind looking at me. Anyway, I'm out here in the chaos kitchen. Here's something I built 10 years ago. 10 years ago, we were walking around on our property in North Florida, and I came across a dead cedar tree, about yay big around. Cut that thing down and took it to the mill and had it milled out into the most beautiful pieces of planking you'd ever find. So I built this cedar cabinet for a true, honest-to-goodness wok burning stove. Now, it's a 2-burner stove. I put it right here when I designed the kitchen. It's fantastic, except for one thing. The original burners burned out. They quit working, oh, I don't know how many years ago, 5, 6 years ago. And I got these new gigantic big burners. I paid about 70 bucks for the original ones each. I paid 150 each for these. Got them all hooked up, wired them in, was all excited. Fired it up, damn thing wouldn't put out anywhere near the heat that this stove put out. Well, if you know anything about woks, you're supposed to be cooking with the breath of the dragon. It's supposed to be going, whoosh, breath of the dragon. Well, instead, I wasn't even getting the burp of the dragon. I wasn't getting a little tiny fart of the dragon. I wasn't getting any part of the dragon. I probably had a little gecko down here going, So, long story short, I fixed it a few days ago with a new regulator, which was all it ever needed. So we're about to get to work on a very simple dinner. And I say simple because this is something that I'm literally throwing together. It's the end of the month. We're on Social Security. We shop once a month, so at the end of the month, we're out of everything. We're out here using cactus paddles to wipe our butts with because we ran out of toilet paper. Which I don't recommend that, by the way. If you get a little bit too far to the front, you've got something itching really bad. Anyway, I'm going to make a stir fry out of just stuff that I had laying around, and it's going to come out looking every bit as good as the very best beef and broccoli you could find in your life. So we're going to get started, and I want to show you the breath of the dragon here. This thing is really cool when you get it working right, and ignore the flies that are bugging around, bombing around my head. If they bother me too much, I'll do that to them. So let me get everything set up, and we'll get going. So I want to show you the breath of the dragon. Now, if we're going to do an Asian-style stir-fry, by no means is this going to be Asian. This is going to be fusion from God knows what countries. But if we're going to do an Asian-style stir-fry, we're going to need some rice. Now, I just added water to our system, so our water in our tanks are pretty muddy. So I've got to get water over here that we had put up before I put the muddy water in. And by the way, the muddy water will settle out in a day or two, and then we can run it through our filters. But for right now, it's a little bit muddy. So I'm going to put just some fresh, clean, cold water in here to make our rice with. Now, it's cold water. My fingers are in there. It is cold, cold water. And I want to show you, I'm going to set it right here for a minute. I've got the pilot light. Whoops. Maybe I'm not going to set it right there for a minute. I got a fly buzzing on me. Okay, I'm going to put a little more water in because I just dumped some of the water out. Now, I didn't get my rice ready. Okay, now I've got my rice ready. I put it in here. Now, if you know much about cooking rice, 1 cup of uncooked rice is going to make you 3 cups of cooked rice if you make it correctly. Which my Japanese friends say I still don't make it correctly, but I'm going to make it my way anyway. So, and we're off and running. Here's the breath of the dragon. You ready for it? Listen to that. Woohoo! Yeah, baby. In fact, I better get my handy-dandy, well-used elf glove because it's going to make my handle real hot. Now, this is real time right now. I often don't do things in real time, but I wanted to do it in real time because those of you foo-foos that I have an induction cooker and it boils water in 3 minutes. Yeah, even he doesn't like those. It's so wonderful. Well, guess what, gang? We got boiling water right now. How long's it been? 40 seconds? Yeah, let's give it a minute and 10. How about that? We'll give it a minute and 10 seconds. And no, it's not really boiling. It's kind of chuckle. But, you know, once you get something chuckling, it doesn't take long to get a belly laugh. And there goes my belly laugh right now. Now over here, I've got this burner lit. I'll turn this burner up on high. Turn the breath of the dragon down. Put this over here. There goes my rice. My rice can cook while we do the rest of the meal. Now I'm a little different than a lot of chefs. I do know how to take my pan and go flippity-flop, flippity-flop. I know how to do that, but I do prefer to stir, and I prefer to stir with a wooden spoon because, well, I like a wooden spoon. So, I am going to cut away for a few minutes. I'm going to let the rice cook. It's got to cook, even though it's already boiling, it's going to have to cook for about 15 minutes, turn it off, and then let it sit for about 15, and then I'm going to have perfect, fluffy rice. Never mind Uncle Ben's converted rice or any of that stuff. This stuff's a lot cheaper, and it doesn't take that long to make. So, I will cut away for a couple minutes, and we'll be back to show you. I'll have all my ingredients cut up. One ingredient I can't cut up in advance is ginger. Ginger will oxidize like a potato or an apple does, so I don't want to cut it up until I'm ready to use it. So, let me cut away. Okay, gang, the rice is settling. Yeah, it's settling. It's settling down. It's absorbing the water. It's already cooked. It just absorbs water and gets nice and fluffy now. You'll notice in the background the DC generator is on. It's 102 degrees at 10 minutes to 7 at night. It's hot, it's humid. This is a monsoonal flow with everything except the rain. So Debbie's got the air conditioner on. I started the DC generator to keep the power up. But let me run through the ingredients we have for our dinner because you're going to want to know. Okay, so write this down. First of all, I have some oyster sauce. Now, again, it's the end of the month, so I was down to about a tablespoon and a half of oyster sauce in here. So what I did was I cut it a little bit, because you're going to need a little extra juice anyway, and I cut it with the juice from a can of mushrooms. Now I had opened this can of mushrooms a couple days ago and put it in here, so I drained the juice into the oyster sauce and cut it. I now have the canned mushrooms. Yeah, fresh would be better, but you know, that's not what I have. Now, also have what we call the aromatics. Now, the aromatics are in here. I have ginger, I have onion, and I have garlic in here. And you can't see, but I also have some carrots. Now, you might ask, what are carrots doing as aromatics? Well, carrots take a little longer to cook, so I actually put the carrots in to cook. Now, the way you cut a carrot, or even celery, is you're going to cut it in a real long diagonal slice like this to give it more surface area to cook with. So those are part of the aromatics. Now, the other aromatic, I had a half an onion, and it would have liked a little more onion. So I get a little more onion flavor by walking out to the garden and picking some chive. I cut the chive into 1/4-inch pieces. So we have 2 tablespoons of chives here. We have 4 garlic cloves, a half an onion, 1 carrot sliced diagonally, and a piece of ginger that's a little bigger than my thumb. Actually, it's about the size of both of my thumbs right there. Just cut up real small. Now that's almost all the ingredients. Now our grocery store had a sale a couple months back on cauliflower and broccoli mix, frozen kind. Nobody wants that, so I bought all I could get my hands on because they were like 99 cents for a big old bag. Those are in the microwave. What I had to do was thaw them out so you get the water out of them. You want to be sure when you're doing a stir fry to get as much moisture out of your stuff as you can. Now, I have about a cup of that in here. So are you keeping that so far? And by the way, I don't know if I said it, but you know, a cup of rice will make 3 cups of cooked rice. I had 2/3 of a cup in there, so that we'll have 2 cups of cooked rice for Debbie and I. Now in here, I have only about 4 ounces of sliced up steak, beef that I had. Don't need much for something like this because the beef is just, the protein in Asia, especially in rural Asia and poorer parts of Asia, you know, protein's really hard to come by. So this will feed, this little 4 ounces will feed a family of 6. So I got 4 ounces in here that marinated in 2 tablespoons of soy sauce most of the day. It absorbed most of the soy sauce, and then I don't have any cornstarch, end of the month, so I put 2 tablespoons of flour in here, mixed it all up. That's how we're going to add it. It's just like that. So we have everything all set up, and we're ready to go. So we're going to go with the breath of the dragon. There. That's the real breath of the dragon there. We're going to set it down. That's about halfway right there. We're going to let it go, and we're going to let that cook until it starts smoking. Not cook, heat up until it starts smoking. This is not a bottle of wine. This is peanut oil. Peanut oil is always what you do want to use if you're doing any wok cookery. You want peanut oil. The reason you want peanut oil is it has a much higher smoking or flaming temperature. Now that's something you have to be really careful of in a recipe like this, is that flame temperature, because that flame temperature will get you if you don't move fast enough and don't use your wok properly. So here we go. We ready? Look at that thing smoking. We're going to add a little over 2 tablespoons, closer to 3 tablespoons of peanut oil. Now that oil is already exceptionally hot, ready to flame, so let's get the aromatics in there. If you don't hear it sizzle, you are braising. You're not stir frying. Now, as I said, this is a very, there we go, that's what we want to see. This is a very important part of wok cooking. What you're doing is you've got 3 zones on the wok, and I forget the names of them, but the one up on the top, when that stuff clears the top, that's your lowest temperature. The bottom, of course, is the hottest. Most of your cooking is done around here. A wok is not that mystical of an instrument. The thing with the wok is you just have to understand it, and don't get one if you don't have one of these burners. And if you're looking for wok recipes and you come across Chef Ling Cho Chao and he's cooking on this kind of a stove, shut that off. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's braising stuff. He'll talk about the sizzle, but you can also put it in, you have to have a solid steel one. You can't have a wooden handle like this. You can put it in a 500-degree oven, take it out, and it'll emulate this. Okay, we got our aromatics going, great guns there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add cauliflower and broccoli. Now the moisture in there is going to cook away, and it's also going to cool the pan a little bit. I want to cool it a little more because I got too much heat going on. Again, this is not a flare type thing that I'm doing. This is actually to help cool and distribute the heat. In go those mushrooms, and right away, you want to stir up those mushrooms. Get them in there. Oh boy. Woohoo! If it ain't sizzling, it ain't cooking, brother. It's braising. There we go. Look at that. Oh man, oh man. I could eat that right now. But wait, there's more. Woohoo! There's a lot more. Now, let's give this just a couple of minutes. Doesn't really need that much, but I'm going to let those carrots cook. And I want to be sure, whoop, there went a carrot. Chickens have a carrot. Ah, he ran like hell. I would too. If an orange sliver was coming after me, God only knows what it would be. Is it a carrot or a NASCAR? Who knows? Okay, now the vegetables are done. You want to cook your meat and your vegetables separately. So we take the vegetables out. And I want you to look at this pan. You notice how clean this pan is? That's a properly seasoned wok. Let's put it back on there. Let that dragon breathe all over it. Get some of this stuff. We're going to need it. That was pretty cool, wasn't it? Smoking! Another tablespoon and a half right there. Now, we are ready. We got to be careful. Remember, we got what in here? We got flour in here. We got to be careful we don't burn the snot out of this. I also have to be careful to get it all out of here, which I'm going to get my hands in there and get dirty because we're going to have an issue. Oh, gosh, is that hot. Way up here, I can't begin to tell you how hot that is from that dragon breathing his fire all over me. I got to get that flour off, but I have to get this going. There we are. Ah, that's what we want to see. Look at that go. If you can get that, you know you're doing it right. Now, believe it or not, that meat is done. That meat is hacked. It's cooked. A little bit too much oil in there. We need to get rid of that oil. Let's get some bourbon here. What? Not in the chef? How about in the Lynchburg lemonade? And how about just a touch? Look out, gang. Woohoo! Yeah, baby. Two purposes. It looks cool, but it's also getting rid of that oil. It's cooking off that oil. Turn the dragon's breath way down now. We don't need it anymore. Let's put our vegetables back in. Vegetables are back in. We got that chive. You notice I didn't put the chive in? You don't want to cook chive. Chive you want it pretty close to raw. There we are. Something's missing. Oh, the chef's got to drink some Lynchburg lemonade. No, wait a minute. That's not it. Let's talk about oyster sauce. How about that? Put that oyster sauce in. If it stops sizzling, you're braising, remember. Just letting it bubble up, make sure it's cooked off, and I've heated all the way through. It did cook a little bit. Let's give it a little snort. That's enough. I'll turn the pilot light off too. This dinner is done, gang. I'm going to plate it for Debbie and I, but I want you to see it. Look at that. Hear that sizzle? Beef, cauliflower, broccoli. That's it. Anybody timing me? Look at the timer. Doesn't take long at all to cook in a wok when you've got the proper equipment. And I'll tell you what, a setup like this, you can do it on a tabletop. This is sitting on a piece of limestone. This is limestone. A burner like this, a 20-pound can of propane, you might have $200 tied up in it, which is just what your cousin Fred's turkey cooker, the one he lit the house on fire with last Thanksgiving, that's about what it costs. But you can make a hell of a lot more food with this than you can with Cousin Fred's turkey cooker. So, I guess there's nothing left to do but Debbie and I eat. Oh, and drink. Lynchburg lemonade. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you learned a little bit about wok cookery. Had a little bit of fun with me and my muscle t-shirt showing off my lack of muscles. And until next time, it's Robert Earl at the Eco Ranch Sustainable Living Education Center, or your desert chef, saying, see you later.